second.
Okay.
Let me just say the reason why we're here, okay? We're not here for, what? All right, Debbie Johnson, I am the secretary of the board, and I'm not here as a board member, okay?
And I'm Vic Pettido.
Okay.
I'm a board member, but this is not an official board meeting because 3 other board members did not show up.
We do not have a quorum, okay?
My name is Megan Maldonado. I am a regional director with First Service Residential.
I'm Emily Shannon, and I'm the property manager here at Lakecrest.
Okay, so the purpose of this meeting was to discuss our landscaping company, which is currently called K&N Landscaping and Maintenance. We had a situation come up late last year. I'm gonna let Vic is the fact guy, and he is fantastic at explaining this. It started with the fact that we got some new sod, and it kind of snowballed from there. So again, this is not a board meeting. The biggest thing we have to ask though is if we cannot have everybody talking on top of each other, we have to control that. So, but we can talk because it's not a board meeting. So normally you guys, you know what I'm saying?
We'll discuss it.
So I'm gonna give it to Vic, and he's gonna start from square one and explain this thing. What? I'm sorry.
He wasn't on the board when this.
He wasn't on the board,
I'll
but he's
explain
got a very, very thorough timeline of what has occurred. He has been amazing with our board. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. Because Vic is the one that discovered this error, and it is a very costly error, okay? So I'm gonna give it to Vic, and you can
Where
start.
are the other board members?
They didn't
They called
show
me
up.
at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. And that's another thing, we're not,
I just
you
want
know,
to
they're,
clarify why they're not here.
okay, well, they had reasons, but, we're in a situation, okay.
For whatever reason.
As far as you know, no one's had a death in their family?
I'm sorry?
As far as you know, no one's had a death in their family?
No.
And as far as you know, no one's in a hospital?
I
Or
don't.
caring for a relative who's in
It
a
has something to do with
hospital?
work, is what they said.
So it is standard board procedure that's an unexcused absence. Vic, please go through the facts, I really appreciate it.
All right, so
Wow.
it all started when I became a board member in December. January was the first time I had to look at the books, the entire expense and what we're paying for and who we're paying it to. And I've discovered that we're paying Massey $1,435 a month for fertilization and pest control on our lawn. But in K&N's contract, we were also paying K&N for fertilization and pest control on our lawn. K&N started in August of last year. Massey started in September of last year. At the board meeting that I was not on the board, but I was present at the meeting in September, we were told, as a group, the community was told that it was gonna be a wash. It was gonna be, we're hiring Massey and we're gonna take that money away from K&N. That never happened. I discovered that in January and brought it to everyone's attention. Nothing was done about it up to this day. And this meeting was supposed to be for the board members to discuss what are our options. What can we do about that? Because it's to the tune of $1,400 a month times 10. So that's the situation. We can't really do anything about it now because we don't have a quorum. We can take questions and try to answer them, but whether or not it's feasible to get any money back from them at this point, their contract is up as of July 30th. So 2 more months. We took it upon ourselves to vote for an RFP, which is a request for proposals, which I got some good information.
Best one we've ever had.
From these guys and found more information, and I put together a very comprehensive request for proposals for landscaping maintenance. And we have had 3 companies that we've interviewed so far, and 2 of them look really good. 1 of them we're probably gonna go with. Way more comprehensive, way more control, more equipment, more talented people working on a property. it'll be a big improvement over what's been going on. And the contract is spelled out specifically for how many times, what they're gonna do. They know it, we know it, and they have supervision in place and communication in place, so we will know what's going on, and Emily won't have to be chasing them to find out why they didn't do this and why they didn't do that. So that's the solution. K&N will be gone, but whether or not we can do anything about recouping the money is what we were gonna try to discuss.
Well,
So
can
that's where we sit.
I say one thing? Here's the thing too. As Vic said, we have gathered, we got 2 very favorable quotes and with very, very impressive companies. So, significantly less expensive, and we're talking, like right now, we're operating with 3 different companies. We got K&N, we got Massey, we got Down to Earth. We're paying a chunk of change, okay? These 2 that we have interviewed, well 3, but the 2 that we're considering are significantly less expensive, and they're a one-stop shop. They're gonna handle all 3 aspects. They've got it together, blah, blah, blah. We've got, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but we've got a board member. Okay, nothing.
Okay, questions?
Well,
The lady with the red hair had her hand up first.
I have a couple of questions actually. One, I'm fairly new to the property, so hi y'all. One, why did our attorneys not look at these contracts initially and put 2 and 2 together?
Yep.
That is a huge issue for me. And just a little background for y'all. I'm in the real estate business. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I'm well aware of what can and can't be done. I was also apartment manager for 3 years, so that makes no sense. Our attorneys need to be held accountable for what they did not do. And if this is their job, well, guess what? They didn't do it. So if we can't get our funds back from the companies, then the liability insurance or the retainers that we pay these attorneys needs to come back to us in the form of whatever the amount is that's due. 2, these companies that you guys have interviewed and everything, no offense, but I mean, the grounds have looked like this since I moved in. And it's beyond nightmare. And that's really all I'm gonna say about that. And I'm gonna just say, I live in building 5, so if anyone has any issues with building 5, please let me know. I have no problems having this discussion.
Right.
I would like to know also, the 3 companies that we have now doing all of this work, was it never brought to their attention that they suck and that they were not doing this job? And why weren't they told that they do suck? And if you need someone to do that, please let me know.
No, I'm good at that. I'm good at that.
Let me answer your question. 2 months ago, I called a meeting to have K&N come in here, and we presented, 3 months ago, whenever it was, I presented them with 25 pictures of everything that was wrong, and I went over their contract with them, word for word, what they were not performing. And
Should I show you how they acted?
no response.
Yeah.
They got, okay, so wait a minute,
They were
you received
so
no
rude.
response
No response.
So
for
rude.
reasonable questions about their questionable service that they are not performing. That in and of itself, there should be a clause within our contract that states,
Right.
should they not be providing.
30-day notice, we could have fired them anytime we wanted.
Okay, so my
We're
question
2
is,
people.
why did
We are 2 people,
I
and
get-
there's
I
other board
totally
members,
understand
okay?
I
If that
totally
answers your
understand
question,
that.
there's other board members that
I
feel
get that.
differently.
And that's fine, I totally understand that.
Okay.
However, I get that there's work and everything like that. I worked, we all work, everybody's paid their dues, I get it. But this is my home. There are 2 things that you don't mess with, and that's my family and daughter, and then my home. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And somebody's messed with it, and nobody's doing anything about it.
I am.
I am.
I would like to see the budget.
So,
I would like to see if it's possible that I could go through the budget for the last 18 months and do a thorough, forensic accounting of what has gone on. I'm the time that I've owned, which was as of May 1st, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But I would like a full,
All of the documents, the financial statements are
that's not
posted
good enough for me.
on our website.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
Okay, so run
They
for
need
the
to
board
be
in
published,
December.
by the way, and they should be
Please,
Mhm.
run for the board in December.
I absolutely
Because
want to.
the 3 people who are not here, we can't replace them all, but we need people who wanna do something to help the
Yeah.
community.
And not cover,
Not show up at a meeting
Right.
when we're trying to talk about
right,
betterment of the
Solutions.
community, so please.
If you wanna come see Emily or I, when we're done, we can, make arrangements for you to see the full financial statement, and then if there's anything else you
I would greatly appreciate that.
access to,
you know?
we can get that to you, because as an owner, you do have a right to see that. So just let us know what you want to see.
Thank you so much, I really appreciate that.
She makes a good point. This has gone on way too long.
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
go ahead.
I have 2 questions, because one of the ladies.
I can't hear you.
The problem at hand is that you're out $14,350, right?
Roughly.
Approximately,
Roughly.
yeah.
How much is left in the K and whatever it is contract?
We paid them 7,000.
How much is left for June and July? Have we paid them?
How much is owed?
So about
That
that
month.
much. All that much. But you think if we don't pay them, they're not gonna come back month 2.
Yes, stop paying that.
Well, then they're in breach of contract.
Right.
And
No,
you
you're
said-
not. They've been paid for something they haven't done.
No, no,
So,
no, we
if
don't
we
pay them
create a
for the next
problem,
2 months,
if-
and if they don't show up, they're a breach of contract, because you
Yeah,
told
but-
Yes,
them,
that's correct.
we're not paying you because you did not perform
And
the
that's my
work.
first question. I still know where we stand. You could recoup half of the money by not paying them. That's
Yeah.
easy. Send an
What I
email
would
to your
do-
other board members and say, the people present, 15 owners said, stop paying. First
But we can't make
residential.
any decisions.
I understand you can, but you make a lot of things by email, no? Served on the board 5-7 years.
So,
I'm just
that's a
saying.
great idea. I would love to be able to do that. What I'm worried about is they won't show up. And
Well,
now we
then
have.
they're in breach of contract.
It
and if
doesn't
got
matter,
paid
they
for
only have,
something
they have 2
didn't
months
do.
left on their contract. They're already in breach of their contract for not supplying
And
services.
we're not doing anything about it.
I would like to do
And
something
here's my
about it.
second question. 5 board members, you raised this in January when you did your personal forensics.
I did.
Wait, what, you had any response? Anyone say, Emily looked into it? Anybody say, I'm the treasurer, I'll take a look at it?
No.
Anybody
The
take any
treasurer-
attention?
Emily and the treasurer and I in March had a meeting about it.
Yes.
Nothing's been
Nothing
done.
was done.
I don't understand.
Can we
That-
petition that our board members must appear?
May I finish my sentence, please, Dee Dee?
Wait.
That places those board members in the capacity of not doing their job, their fiduciary
That's
duty
exactly
I
right.
said that
under
to
their,
them.
right.
That's
I
right.
said that to
And
them.
frankly,
They wanna
let's
keep
face it,
paying
I'm a school lawyer, not Florida lawyer, talking to you. It also places First Residential in a bit of a bind.
Yes.
Because when there's an issue, 10 years ago, we had an issue where the recession had 80 people not paying their dues every month. Right? And our lawyers and our residential, whatever they were, the camps, didn't ring the bell.
Yeah.
So my point is, when you're a lawyer, or you're in your kind of business, as Susie says, when there's an issue, you ring the damn bell until the people pay attention. If necessary, the residential property managers are supposed to ring the bell and call special meetings because they realize there's an issue. So you got a lot of places to hang this. I don't think the lawyers are used because the other members of your board hate lawyers, don't recognize what their usefulness might be, and I don't believe any of your contracts have been reviewed by lawyers in probably
They
7
weren't.
or 8 years.
I know they weren't.
Because you're using the same old Larson idiots
That's
where
right.
I was on the board and I called them because we had hundreds of thousands of dollars in past due HOA fees. I couldn't get a partner, I couldn't get a lawyer, associate, best I got was a paralegal, and we fired them.
Yeah.
And then we hired a law firm that everyone hated that collected the money. They didn't care, you could hate them, they collected the money so that we didn't go under. At the time, Barbara and Francois fail. We didn't think we'd make it. This is not that situation, but you got 3 board members who should resign for not doing their job. And First Residential, sorry Megan, your company's in trouble because you didn't ring the bell and call a meeting saying there was a problem. So first off, your people should be not paying that landscaper for the last 60 days. And secondly, they need to get sued for their actions, for their breach of contract and how badly they dealt with this. And you need to hire a lawyer who reviews contracts.
Yes.
God forbid you pay $1,000 a year to a lawyer to review contracts.
Yes, agreed. We had a contract. I
You
don't
can
know,
hate
we
lawyers,
weren't
but they
there.
have usefulness.
Neither one of you three were on board, but we had a contract issue. I remember, if I could get Sean to speak on that, but he's not here, a while ago, where the lawyers dropped the ball on the contract. So we've had issues. I
You
mean,
made a settlement agreement where somebody owes $80,000 or whatever the hell it is they owe, and nobody knows what's going on, and nobody signed off on the settlement.
Okay, all right.
My question is, we can't even get a quorum for this kind of a meeting. So how do you two plan to get a new landscape on board here?
a new landscaper?
Yeah.
Well,
You can't, I mean, do you understand, this has nothing,
Yeah,
no
It's-
disparity from you two.
There's such a difference.
That's my concern.
Here's the reason, I think. There is such a blatant difference between the new company that we plan to hire and K&N. If a board member voted to keep K&N based on what they gave us compared to the other, then they're totally in breach of their
which,
fiduciary
that's,
responsibilities.
Well, they are already, so.
Yeah, you need to notify the carrier. First Residential, you need to notify the carrier. You've got a breach of fiduciary.
It's just too blatant. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, but it already did kind of happen.
Well, they threatened, but.
Yeah, they approved.
If I can just add, so this RFP was actually sent to K&N just to give them a chance
Yeah.
to respond and as in good faith saying, this is, your contract, the existing contract is very ambiguous. It leaves a lot to interpretation, which is not good in the landscaping contract. So this is very detailed. We gave them a chance to come back and say, give us this detailed explanation. They gave a contract back and it did not follow the RFP, and in my personal opinion, it's not a great contract.
It's not even close.
It's not.
So, by the way, the next board meeting on the 16th, we are having the companies come and present their contracts.
Provided you
their
can have
bids.
a board meeting.
At
That's
the next
true.
board meeting.
She makes a good, what are we gonna do?
It's gonna be an
These two
hour, it's
decide
gonna
they're
be an
gonna
hour
jump
early,
ship.
it's gonna be at 5:30.
Trying to
Provided
have
you can
board
have a board
meetings,
meeting.
right? So you're gonna keep trying to have your board meetings and if you don't reach quorum,
Well, how disrespectful is that, that they get to just not show?
Extremely,
So there are
extremely.
In the documents,
actions
yeah,
that
where it would
can be
say
taken,
if they don't show up for certain
right,
amount of
so if the board members, don't show up a certain amount of times, they're automatically off the board, we will be forced to contact the association's attorney, we can reach out to the state ombudsman to come in and intervene. You mentioned, can the owners petition the board? Yes, 20% of the ownership can get together and petition the board to,
that they have to
that they
show.
have a meeting.
Yeah.
And legally, the board has to have a meeting within 60 days of that petition coming through. And they have to have quorum or we fall into, no, not receivership, but, the association will get into trouble by the DPPR.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are legal ramifications that the board and the association will face should no quorum.
Does K&N already, do
You
they
guys-
automatically renew if we don't do
No,
anything?
no. Here's the question,
Good.
here's the question I have for the crowd. Why would we not wanna pursue this? Why would the board members not wanna pursue it? And why would we wanna keep K&N? Why?
Somebody is getting something over
That's,
something.
Megan, did you hear what this lady just said?
Say it, Fran.
People are talking like this, and that's a problem.
I hear that,
What
listen.
did she say?
People are getting paid off.
Yeah.
Or
somebody's relative.
Nobody knows that.
Right.
But people are talking about it, and that's
Yes,
the
we
problem.
are.
comment and one question. I raised the issue about the lawyers that we fired 10 years ago that we rehired. Why? And the other one, who's sleeping with the landscaping company?
Yeah.
Somebody is getting something somewhere.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Because why would they not come?
Why would they want to re-up their contract? Why would they not want to recoup 15 grand? They are a problem.
Why would they not care that all these residents are unhappy?
And then
Chip
some.
will tell you, I ride around on my golf cart, everybody loves that. Who? I told her car. Give me names. Give me names. Because there is nobody.
Listen,
I've not talked to one
I
person.
can make this really short and simple. There's been neglect going on, and for some reason, some of our board people want K&N. I don't know why. They're completely over their head in the job responsibilities that they think that they can.
Absolutely.
They
They're
can't.
not over their head, they're only doing the little things. Yeah.
Whatever it is. But the thing is, we can't do anything about it because we need 3. And until we get 3, there's nothing that we can do about
So
it.
we petitioned.
Marty
needs
is
to know
legitimately
for
sick
another
though.
meeting
I don't
that
think
these
Marty's
two people
skipped
can
out
make.
unless he's lying to me.
Why isn't he zooming in
But we
there?
need
I know. I
3.
asked him. He's
So
not on
why is this particular person on the board so adamant about K&N
Right.
when they're so obviously deficient in their responsibilities?
And they're trying to charge me this much more than the other landscapers that were interviewed.
Debbie,
Why would you?
send out another emergency meeting notice for a night that you can make it. Every 2 days, schedule an emergency meeting. And see if they continue not to show up until the 16th. Keep scheduling emergency meetings.
Yeah, that's really a shame.
It's what you need to do.
I know, but that's really freaking
Next
shame.
Wednesday is the
They don't
ninth.
waste
Schedule
our
a meeting.
time.
48 hours.
That'd be fine, say something. That'd be great.
Okay. Yeah,
Send
Terry.
out an email to your board member, colleagues.
Hang on. Everybody can talk at once, please.
Send out an email to 48 hours.
We gotta get $4,000. Why should they do it?
All right.
Yeah.
Terry.
That's all I'm saying.
Here's the top line. You can't talk unless
I'm just gonna stand up and just put it here. Well, I have one question regarding who writes our contracts?
Wait, nobody, we need to deal with this.
That's part of the issue.
No, and I understand that, but there's only so much that we can do, obviously, with 2 people on the board. We can bitch all we want, okay? That's
That's not bitching, now we have to do something.
right, but we can't do anything legally until one other board member shows up. Now, if we cannot get 3 board members to show up, and I would say within the next 48 hours or by Monday, that would give them enough time, have an emergency meeting. Should they not show up, they then become,
I agree.
in, whatever the word is. However, we do not have someone who writes our contracts. Why is our attorney? Do we have a
We don't
contract
have
with
a
our attorneys?
we don't have an attorney in general.
We need a contract committee.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to throw this out there and offer this up to everybody. I'm a certified real estate paralegal with a specialty in real estate and IP contracts. I don't mind reviewing contracts and giving feedback. Obviously, I'm not going to be giving legal advice. However, this shit has to stop. It truly does. And I know that you two are, you appear very genuine in that you want this to stop. The other 3 individuals need to be given written notice that should they not show up to the next emergency meeting, their particular positions are up for grabs as an emergency situation that would require them to step down from their positions. They are no longer fit for their responsibilities.
I agree.
I do too.
That can be done. That is actually something that they can do.
All right. Did you have
Your turn,
Okay,
Jen.
now I've forgotten. But I do wanna say this, I do wanna say that, you know, well, as far as us being here tonight, this is good. We should have had these kinds of open forums before. Number two, even though Debbie and Vic have, interviewed several other landscape companies, they have not made a decision yet. They cannot make a decision until, they have a quorum and we have seen the bids. And I was under the impression that the meeting on the 16th, the board meeting on the 16th, was for the other companies to present their bids.
Correct.
And the other thing is that, I want to clarify something I heard said, that these other companies are going to do it, I forget, for the same amount of money or less money than K&N. What he's meaning is the combination between K&N, what we pay down to earth for irrigation, and what we're paying Massey, is the total of those three are higher in cost than probably, this is what you mean, in some of the
Substantially.
Significantly
in
higher.
some of the
Like, not
bids
even-
you'll get, right?
Not even close.
Okay.
So there's no reason
Just wanted to
to,
make
yeah,
that point.
besides the fact that they signed.
Is all of that included, like, on our annual, monthly budget, whatever?
What we're getting for what we're paying.
Right.
Yep.
In,
100%.
in addition to that, as required by Florida statute, on the community website, there will be a list of the bids that were reviewed by the board and their pricing and the breakdown, so that you can see not only what was approved, but also the comparison. We have to have that published on
But
the
that's,
website.
but that's after it's approved, correct?
Regardless.
It'll be posted after,
It'll
but
be posted after, but you can see it
you'll
on the
be able
meeting.
to see the
Yeah.
contract, the
Exactly,
proposal.
but at that board meeting where you're looking for approval,
Yeah.
everybody needs to know what the amounts that
I mean,
you're,
yeah.
When they
to
do
make
their
it perfectly
presentation, you
clear.
can have them speak.
They're gonna tell us. If you want to have copies of the RFP
Yes.
and like a bid comparison sheet, we can make copies of
Yeah,
that.
Yes.
we'll have that.
The simpler the better,
Yeah.
Yes.
really.
Yes.
Okay, so
You need to
we're gonna
prepare
bid
your
compare.
bid
Copies of the bids.
document to give and submit out to the contractors, so they're all bidding with the same.
Did.
Yeah, that's what
That's
it
what
is.
it
Yeah.
Yes.
What's beyond that?
It's a no-brainer, is what I'm telling you from here, so, you know.
And that's, I mean,
It
you're
really is.
right, the important thing,
And why we
is
have
they're all bidding
pushbacks
off
and
the same,
If anybody wants to look at it, we can pass it around.
So, Megan, quick question. So, can we legally not pay them for 2 months because of breach of contract?
I'm not an attorney, so I cannot provide, legal advice, but, I mean, it is not unheard of for an association to not pay a vendor that is not performing.
There you go.
The only, the thing to think about is, you don't pay a vendor, they typically don't complete the work. They walk off the job.
Yay.
Right?
Is it gonna get any worse?
Right, not much.
That's
So we'll have a little
that's
longer.
a decision the board has to
Well-
weigh.
But also then you're gonna hire a company and you're still gonna have to pay.
Well, yes, again, that's an option the board has to weigh. This, what's the risk versus what we're, recouping then in cost by not paying them? Do we have the company come in and start sooner to make up for the fact that you
I'm
have
thinking.
this company that walked off, or could they possibly do the right thing and just stick it out, or, again, that's for the board to weigh those risks.
One other quick addendum. Don't K&N owe us like $20,000 for equipment or something that we loaned them?
No, K&N. No.
No, it's the fertilizer.
Yeah.
It's the services that they didn't provide. And it's about 15,000. Yep.
About 15 grand.
Okay, so as far as to the point of suing me, or not suing, but not paying the vendor, there are two issues with that. One, they could come back essentially and sue us for breach of contract to them.
Yep.
Now, if we have not notified them in writing that they are in breach of contract and detail out the specifics, we're screwed if we don't pay them. I mean, that's the easiest way I can say it. if we notify them, we can make this contract null and void. They can't come back and sue us for something that they've been notified as being, not right. They didn't do what they were supposed to. We could essentially issue a judgment against the company who has not provided the right services to the HOA. That aside, the next meeting is on the 16th.
It has to be one before that.
Oh,
It has to
can we have an emergency meeting? Can that be managed with the other 3 individuals on Monday? Because I'm only going to call them individuals once.
We will try our
I think that,
very hardest.
I think Monday is not
Send an email.
Notice Monday, notice Wednesday, notice Friday.
To the
Let
board.
them not show
There's
up.
gotta be a regulations of what, how much notice we give
It's
to
just
the
48
board.
hours.
So what is that, what's the
Right.
requirement?
So we will send a notification to the board members,
48 hours.
saying another meeting is being scheduled.
So who initiates that request to let the board members know that they're
Yes.
going to?
Alright, so,
No, she makes, I'm sorry,
Very scary.
I don't remember her name. Susie. She makes a very good point about withholding the payment, and again, I'm not an attorney, so consulting the attorney.
I would say consult an attorney that has the common sense God gave concrete. However, I'm just saying, as a certified real estate paralegal,
Yes.
I can tell you that the company can come back to us
Yes.
and sue us, not just place a judgment against the HOA, they can come back and sue us for all of that.
They can't place a judgment unless they have a litigated judgment granted by a court. The uniform commercial code says, when you have a disagreement on a contract, you must give a reasonable opportunity to cure. From what Vic has said, and I believe you had a meeting in March. We're not happy. We need you to fix this. It is now June. That is under the Uniform Commercial Code adopted in 49 states. Controls breach of contract in a commercial situation. We're not residential, we're commercial. Yes.
Okay,
As
these
a
idiots
group.
didn't even.
Therefore, they have not fixed their problem.
absolutely.
You have the right to stop paying.
Okay.
And that is a lawyer's sentence.
Okay, so Annette brought something up before too that I want to try to talk about the responsibility of FSR.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as that not being picked up, that we were double paying this back in September, October, November. What liability and is there insurance for that?
Thank you.
Does your company have?
The mathematical error, so yes, there was a
Let's,
math.
okay, let's just lay the cards out.
Yeah,
So we
let's
are all
lay
on
the
the same
cards.
page.
So, to your point,
But
Vic,
that
yes,
doesn't matter.
we have insurance, I mean, it's part of our management contract with the association. There is an insurance requirement section that we require the association to carry certain coverages. But at the same time, we also are promising to carry additional coverages. And yeah, there's insurance for errors and omissions.
So
We wanna
here's the
solve that.
result. You stop paying them, carry it up to 7,000, and First Residential talks to them and says, this is not worthwhile for you to pursue. Because we're gonna kick in, we don't wanna use our errors and omissions, we're gonna kick in $7,000. And we need to be made whole. However that happens, Lakecrest needs to be made whole.
Yeah.
So,
Annette, okay, we're gonna follow the rules because it's getting a little frustrating for me.
I'm sorry, Bernice, but, you know, you need to know a lawyer's perspective as
Just
well.
wait your turn and then.
I know, but
You need another meeting before June 16th.
We heard you.
we heard it.
Okay, let's
Okay.
get
So-
down,
He's
hold on
out.
a second, let Megan explain a little something here, and we can, just with the FSR accountability.
when the issue, the problem with P&N about the not spraying was discovered and Massey was approached initially to treat a trench chinch bug issue with some new sod that had been laid down, and then ultimately, it was decided to hire Massey to provide, their services instead of having K&N do it. There was a mathematical error as it was presented to the board as to how much it was going to cost, what the reduction from K&N versus what was being paid to Massey, and it did make it seem like it was washed. I don't know the exact figure that was presented.
The figure was $1,600.
Yeah, a month.
And it was presented at the meeting that was a month, and then it was presented to K&N as it was a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the real issue.
So that's where K&N got the number to drop down.
So the money was not figured.
I don't know where they got the money. I don't know where
So-
the 1,600 came from.
It was
Change a
mathematical
contract for any
error.
reason, you've got to, you need to modify the contract.
And you can
If you
see,
did not revise, that's the key. You have a contract and you have to send an amendment to the contract.
So there is an amendment that was
signatures
made
not made.
to the contract. It was,
If
There
they
was no
got
signatures.
that money in there and that contract was signed with that amount, that service, and then along the way, they said, okay, they're not gonna provide that service, but that money was still in that cost, then you need to do an amendment to take that out. And that's
but there was an amendment made in September. I don't know who wrote it,
It's not signed.
but it was not signed. It was never signed, and it never addressed fertilizer. It only addressed pest control. So the fact is that the fertilization and pest control was never taken out of the contract. Pest control for the perennial plants and shrubs was the only thing that was agreed to, reducing the contract by $1,600 a year,
Which was a mistake.
but the rest of the services were not provided. Yes. Yeah.
Francois has,
Oh.
he has a speak stick.
Sorry.
Barbara already kind of mentioned it. In the past, previous boards kind of went through the contracts and said, this contract is this X amount, this one is this amount, this one is this amount, and we approved this proposal. Lately, it's just, well, we're authorizing a payment to this construction company.
Yeah.
There are no bids that comes to the table that we know, yeah, 3 bids were requested and reviewed. It's just, stuff just happens.
Yeah, so
Yeah, no, I know.
in order for us to be required to get open bids or competitive bids, it has to be more than 5% of our total budget. And it wasn't. The landscaping contract is definitely far above that, but the Massey contract wasn't.
It's not required bid, but it's just.
It
it's
should
not
be.
a courtesy to the community.
It's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Wait,
I mean, we have trees showing up that we didn't know
speak
anything
stick.
about.
What?
I got the speak stick.
No.
I just have 2 really quick
Give
things
it
to
to
say.
Dick when you're done.
One, K&N knew they were supposed to get docked. They never brought it up that they were not getting docked.
Right.
For 2, it takes years as a landscape company to qualify as a spray company. They, starting off, there was no way they were qualified. They should have said right from the get-go, we can't get a license to carry around pesticide and stuff like that. I know I have 3 friends that own landscape companies. One of them took them 10 years to get approved.
Because somebody's getting something from somebody, that's why.
Can I address one thing real quick? From the original K&N contract, there has been a reduction in the contracted price.
Yeah.
It just does not equal to the full amount that is being paid to Massey.
Yes.
That's the discrepancy.
Well, it's $134 reduction, $1,435 being paid to Massey.
So you're talking
Wow.
per month, and it's continued.
Yes.
Did I miss something, but shouldn't our lawyers be involved in this?
Yes.
Yes, they should be, or?
I think so.
Absolutely.
We don't have lawyers, do we? We have Larson, Inland, Condo Collections. Do we have a corporate lawyer?
No.
For general matters.
Who's your corporate lawyer?
I'm sorry?
Who's the corporate lawyer?
Larson.
That's not a corporate lawyer, that's condo collections done by a paralegal or a clerk in an office in Orlando. You no longer have a a lawyer.
His name is Charles Eldridge, and he is the attorney for general counsel.
And he's from Larson.
Correct.
And he's the one who did a settlement agreement that nobody knew about, that was not good for the conduct. Larson was fired 10 years ago from incompetence.
Yeah.
How the board took him back, Francois, former president, Barbara, former
All right,
president, none of us get
We
it.
can work on that.
Yeah.
Well, did we recently just re-up that contract? I didn't know any
Yeah,
of
we
this.
have a 3-year
I
contract.
didn't know they were fired 10
We're
years
probably
ago.
2.5
If you
years.
called them and asked them to abrogate the contract, I'm sure they'd be happy to do so. If you could get through to a lawyer. No lawyer has a 3-year contract against the law. Lawyers serve at the will of the client.
Yes.
Fire them.
Yes. Client can fire them at any time.
You're right. Well, I was trying to.
Thank you.
I was trying to hit you.
Thank you.
Can we have
I'm having my
another
40th
meeting?
anniversary as a lawyer, I get it.
I'm sorry, what?
Can we have another meeting on Monday or
We
Tuesday?
can have a town hall meeting.
No, I want a meeting
No,
meeting, and I want
we
everyone's
have-
butts
Our
in those
board
seats.
voted to have a special meeting.
Okay,
This is not happening tonight. It has to happen. It's
right.
been voted
Yeah.
by the board unanimously. It
Pushing
has
on
to
the road
happen.
2 months already,
So-
So
They,
that's,
what did they say? Somebody said he's available Monday and Friday of next week.
Monday sounds good to me.
Monday's good.
So let's
yeah.
try for Monday.
Let's do Monday.
But we can't make that decision. Not
No,
allowed
but
to.
you
I
can
mean,
send out,
I mean, I can
you can
approach.
send out notices.
Yeah,
Emily is going
Emily, can you
to
do that? Try to
send an email
reschedule
to
it
the
for Monday.
board, getting everybody's availability for next week,
What?
for a day next week. And
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
everybody has
And
agreed,
also do a blast
majority have
email.
agreed to a date, we will notify the community and post an official meeting
Do we know when Emily is gonna do that?
I'm doing it now.
right now.
Thank you, Emily.
I don't understand why.
Can we,
It's aggravating to me that we're
can
sitting
we
here.
request the board members to make themselves available
I
Monday?
don't know if I can make it.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do that. I'll see how you do it.
The strong suggestion, make yourself available.
Yeah. Right. Now, when are you next available next week?
Or put an online petition so we can all go in and sign it, say
Yeah,
we demand that
yeah,
you
we
show up
demand
at
that
this
you guys show up
meeting.
for
Can
this
you do that
meeting.
to make
I
it?
thought you said we could do that.
Vendors
I
and
cannot,
sons have
because I am
to.
not a resident.
Oh,
A
yeah.
resident has to initiate.
Oh.
So how do we
do
get it,
that.
how do we post it to all the residents?
Someone has to create it.
So I have seen petitions done in a couple different ways. There are online petitions. I have seen people go door to door with a piece of paper. I have seen petitions where they signed on a roll of toilet paper, or not
Okay.
toilet paper, paper towels
Okay.
with a Sharpie. And
So what do we have to get, 20%?
20% of the
How many units is
membership.
20%?
20% of the voting membership?
57?
278, is it?
284.
284.
284?
58,
But here's the thing, you guys,
It's
honestly,
57.
Marty's
57.
legitimately sick.
Marty is legit sick.
So I'm saying he's our third person, so we're good.
Okay.
As
We're
long
good.
as he comes.
Well, yeah, he will. He did
If
not
he's
know.
sick, is he gonna be well Monday?
He did not know the other two weren't showing. I confronted him, like, look, did you know they weren't showing? No, I did not know. I think he's legit. And as long as he's legit, we got 3 people.
I mean, Zoom.
Well, if he's
I know.
legit, then schedule
I
it
know.
for Monday.
Just remember, if you're going to do the petition, it has to be 20% of the voting membership, so you
Oh.
can't
Not
have
condo,
Renters.
or renters.
no renters, and it can't be, if there's a husband and a wife living in a unit, you can't have the husband and the wife sign, and that
This
counts.
is,
It's like,
for them to
basically,
cause
like when
this.
you sign the ballot to vote for,
It's not our
the
first one,
election.
though, Megan.
Okay. Well, it's.
We'll get it.
I'm just trying to help.
So,
You are being helpful.
no,
Thank
you're
you.
being very helpful.
Yeah.
So,
Not everybody's going
so,
through it.
in other words, when we knock on the door and they're both like, oh, hell yeah, I'll sign it, you go, no, we just need one. And then units that we know where there's renters, don't even bother. Okay.
Okay.
When do we have to have it in by a certain time ahead of the meeting?
So once the petition is submitted to the board, then the board has to hold a meeting within 60 days.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
60 days?
I know. That's
Yeah.
what statute says. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 things.
Yes.
First of all, I believe that the petition is not necessary for one of those reasons right there. Number two, I don't even remember what the damn petition's supposed to be about.
That's to make them come to the meeting.
That's not gonna happen.
It's gonna come, we're good, we don't need to go through all this trouble.
60 days.
They really don't.
The petition is to force a meeting.
Right.
So obviously, we would want to try to have a meeting organically.
Yes, yes.
This is almost last resort.
Yes.
Before we have to take legal.
Yes.
I don't think we need it.
Yes.
I know, I'm just giving you
No,
maybe
you're right.
your options.
If it's 60 days, it's already gonna be passed.
We need to have this 16th thing, we need to get it, he'll show, I know he will.
All right, so
I know he will.
we're gonna
On
do
Monday?
it Monday.
I'm calling right now.
And it would also help if you see the other board members, approach them and say, and tell them how you feel.
I have many.
Yeah, they don't even answer your emails.
It's gotten to the point where it's like an ego thing, and it's getting old, I'm sick, you know.
Yeah, but we can't speak.
It's
about
not ego, it's
Hey,
neglecting
sorry to
traditional
bother you,
duty.
are you available for a meeting Monday night?